Hi, it's time for an introduction. My name is Lewis Bergen, and I've lived in Edinburgh for the past 15 years. And while I've lived in many different flats and houses around the city, I've predominantly lived in the small and unique port area of Edinburgh called Leith. It's a brilliant and fascinating place filled with brilliant and fascinating people. Time for a story. Now, I'm not a history guy by all means, but I've become more and more obsessed with Leith's past life as an important trading hub in Scotland's maritime history, as well as being important naval fortification for many hundreds and hundreds of years. But if, like me, you occasionally take a walk around Leith, you may have encountered these. For me, they have remained a mystery for some time. But this is 2024, and we have access to the biggest human information resource of all time, excluding the Library of Alexandria. So I googled. Well, that is a small lie. I did find a website called Leith Forever, an online exhibition celebrating the people and things about Leith. And in its 100th day of the exhibition, it shared images and things and stories from people during COVID. This post contained various photos and images about what Leith means to all sorts of people, but it didn't give me any information. So I felt lost, and at this point, it was probably the best time to stop. But I turned to the next best thing to find information. Twitter, and thankfully I know a guy. His name is Andy Arthur, an accomplished and esteemed historian, and he runs a site named Threadinburgh, a thorough deep dive in the most obscure and uncovered history of Edinburgh and beyond. So I essentially asked him, what are they? Who did them, and how many are there? And then a few hours later, he replied. What a legend. I asked and I had received, and what he told me was interesting. Leith Enterprise Trust and the Leith Visitor Development Group. Well, I searched them both, and to save you the boring detail, I couldn't find much of anything, and no crumbs to follow. Give up. This is the point where I should have given up. But he did tell me one more piece of information. 30. There are 30 of these plaques hidden around Leith. Now you see, 30 is a very annoying number. 30 of these plaques is big enough to merit interest within its own right. However, it's small enough that if a vexillological and typographical nerd like me had some spare time and a camera, well, maybe they could go out and do some sort of treasure hunt. But I'm not that guy. I'm not that guy. Damn it! I'm Lewis Bergen, this is Locale. Join me as we hunt down all 30 of these plaques. Before we go on to hunt these plaques down, I need to tell you about them. To start, on the left-hand side is a simplified version of the crest of Leith, a round-bottomed boat riding blue and black choppy waves and a baby blue sky. Second, we have a board divided by a black wave with the title of the place of interest on top, and in the bottom we have a brief description. It's a fairly simple design that's lasted ages, given that these were put up in 1989 before I was even born. It's a great mix of design and history that any Leither can take a lot of civic pride in. Whoever designed these should derive great satisfaction from its production. The history of the crest of Leith is very complex to minimise. So, with that out of the way, let's go find them all. Plaque number 1, Lady Fyfe's Brae. This plaque here in the world-famous Leith Links points to Lady Fyfe's Brae, which is actually a remnant of something much older, a grassy mound that was once a gun position known as Pelham's Battery. In 1560, during the Siege of Leith, the English troops supporting the Protestant Reformation built artillery positions on Leith Links. One of these positions was Pelham's Battery, which then became known as Lady Fyfe's Brae after Lady Fyfe, who lived in a nearby house called Hermitage House. Now, moving on to another grassy hill in Leith Links. Plaque number 2, Giant's Brae Battery.
Also known as Somerset's Battery, this is another historic gun position in Leith Links, similar to Lady Fyfe's Brae. Here's a quick rundown. A large, almost circular grassy mound with steeper sides standing up to 3 metres high with a flat top, which may have been levelled to accommodate a flagstaff in the past. Plaque number 3, Trinity House. Trinity House is a building opened in 1818 in the Georgian neoclassical architectural style, which served multiple purposes throughout the centuries. Originally a guild hall, a customs house, and a centre for maritime administration, in the past it also functioned as a hospital and played a role in maintaining lighthouses in the Forth. Note, this plaque has no title or descriptor because the building itself is listed as Category A. Number 4. The Porter's Stone. The Porter's Stone isn't actually a standing stone in its original location anymore. Here's the story. The stonework carving is a decoration that once adorned a 17th century Leith merchant's house. The original stone dates back to 1678 and depicts figures believed to be porters who unloaded cargo from ships in the port. But, unfortunately, the merchant's house was demolished. However, the Porter's Stone was not lost to history. The original Porter's Stone is now preserved in Huntly House Museum in Edinburgh. This replica of the stone, seen here on the wall, was created by sculptor Sean Williamson and placed at the vaults. Speaking of which, Number 5. The Vaults. In the 18th century, a building at this site was constructed to function as a wine warehouse. The building is one of the oldest commercial premises in Scotland, likely dating back to the mid-1700s, and is still standing to this day. Since 1983, however, this historic wine warehouse has been home to the Scottish Malt Whisky Society. Number 6. Lamb's House. This historical building in Leith, Lamb's House, is recognised for its architectural and historical importance with an A listing. Dating back to the 17th century, this house exemplifies the architectural style typical of harbour towns in the North Sea. The site boasts a rich past, having been once owned by an Edinburgh merchant and ship owner, Andrew Lamb. Legend has it that Lamb even entertained Mary Queen of Scots in the vicinity upon her return from France in 1561. Historical records also show Lamb's ownership of a ship named the Mary Grace. Previously a property once under the administration of the National Trust for Scotland, Lamb's House is now in the hands of conservation architect Nicholas Grove Rains and Christian Hannesdottir, the honorary consul of Iceland in Edinburgh. Number 7. Old Leith Town Hall. The Old Leith Town Hall is one of the most significant buildings in Leith, with a rich history. It was originally built as a meeting place for the Leith Borough Council in the classical Edinburgh style by architects R&R Dixon between 1828 and 1829 at the cost of £3,260. Most importantly, the town hall served the heart of Leith's local government until 1920, because you see, Edinburgh and Leith up to the start of the 20th century were two separate and distinct towns within their own right. After annexation, however, the town hall had various commercial uses until becoming the local branch of the Police Scotland in 1983. Number 8. Leith Assembly Rooms. You see, this is a bit of a weird one. The plaque says Leith Assembly Rooms, but is located on the side of the Exchange buildings. For context, Leith Assembly Rooms were the former locations serving as a social centre for gatherings, meetings and events, but these were within the larger complex of the Exchange buildings, which also housed a reading room, coffee room, pub and various businesses. But unlike the well-known assembly rooms located in central Edinburgh, Leith Assembly Rooms no longer exist, and the Exchange buildings today are predominantly offices. Okay, let's speed this up. Number 9. Old Corn Exchange. This is the plaque that points to the Old Corn Exchange, a venue for commerce of grain exports, but its use, as such, faltered due to the decline of the British agricultural industry. That's it for this one. Number 10. 42 Bernard Street. This is the site of the oldest pub in Leith. Now home to the carrier's quarters, a super friendly bar, and definitely worth your patronage for a pint or 10. Note the intricate and decorative crest of Leith on the exterior of the building, exclaiming "PERSEVERE," the evergreen motto of Leith. We'll come to that in a bit later. Number 11. The King's Wark. Originally the site of residence for King James I of Scotland, the King's Wark was also once home to a naval storehouse and armoury. The original building suffered damage throughout history, including destruction during the Hertford invasion of 1544. While being rebuilt by Mary Queen of Scots, it is now a restaurant and pub. And just across the road is this. Number 12. The King's Landing. This is the site of the King's Landing. The plaque is opposite the dock where King George IV once visited Leith at the behest of Sir Walter Scott. At the dock now is a boat, home to a 17-room hotel, venue and bar. Note the royal plaque that remains quayside to this day. Number 13. Signal Tower. The signal tower was once known as Milne's Mill, a windmill for pressing rapeseed oil for naval uses and export. In 1805, the windmill underwent a conversion to serve the purpose it is known for now, a signal tower to relay messages to boats, guiding them safely into harbour. The bottom of the tower is now a seafood restaurant. Number 14. Old Custom House. The Old Custom House once served as the official customs house of Leith, where ship captains declared their cargo and paid any duties. It served as such right up into the 1980s. Now a bustling creative space and home to a number of studio spaces and exhibition galleries. Number 15. Citadel Archway. The Citadel Archway is the last remaining remnants of what is known to be a larger structure known as the Citadel of Leith, a fort built in the 1650s by Oliver Cromwell's troops during the English occupation of Scotland. The Citadel served as a military base for Cromwellian forces and housed the Scottish government headquarters. After the restoration of the monarchy in Britain, however, by Charlie II, most of the Citadel was willfully demolished, with only the archway remaining now and protected by this wrought iron gatework. Number 16. Old St Ninian's Church. You see, this is a bit of a fun one for me because while I was out spotting these plaques and remembered all the locations for all the previous ones we've talked about, this one is actually one I found on the day of filming. This is Old St Ninian's Church, a chapel that boasts a rich history dating back to the 15th century. It was established in 1493 by Robert Bellenden, the Abbot of Holyrood, and named after St Ninian, a revered figure in early Scottish Christianity. This was originally a chantry chapel with 2 chaplains supported by tolls and rents. It did, however, suffer damage during the English raids in the mid-16th century, but was restored and became the parish church of North Leith in 1606. You'll notice the distinctive Dutch-style steeple, which dates to around about 1675, and is a notable landmark. By the 18th century, however, the congregation outgrew the church, leading to the construction of a new church somewhere else in Leith. However, Old St Ninian's continued to be used for some time, but eventually fell out of regular service. And while it's not a functioning church anymore, it still remains a significant historical site while being home to a number of offices.
Focus. There we go. Okay, so here's where we hit a bit of a small problem. Say small, more big. While I've been living in Leith for the past 15 years, I've been seeing these plaques here, there and everywhere and storing them up in my head until a project like this comes along. And much like this pier right here is the metaphorical limit to Leith itself, I've hit the limit of my own knowledge. I've only found 16 plaques, which raises more questions than it does answers. Chief amongst, are there actually 30 plaques, or have we lost them to time itself? Moreover, since 1989, well, history's moved on a bit. Leith has grown massively, and there's a lot more history to look after.
Off the top of my head, I can think of a number of modern-day candidates that would be great to mark their place in important times of the past. Who knows, maybe in the future as a community, we may be able to nominate a few pieces every year.
What I do know is this: I've had a supreme amount of fun exploring my local area. And while I haven't found all the plaques, I've become hyper aware of all the cool little things that has made up Leith to this day. Now, Leith is an amazing place to come and visit. I urge you to come. Not just to come and find the plaques that I haven't found, but there is so much to see and do. If you want to come down here, you can get here by bus or tram. But before I go, there's just one last thing.
18. Persevere. You'll have noticed the boat in the design of these plaques. It's a nod to the original crest and flag of Leith, which features the Madonna protecting her child on a ship from the choppy waters and the storm clouds above. Leith has a motto: Persevere. It captures the spirit and history of a port town that has faced numerous challenges throughout its history, including wars, fires, economic downturns, and changes to the shipping industry. Persevere reflects the town's ability to bounce back and keep moving forward. Even the people of Leith are known for their determination and hard work. This motto embodies their grit and their ability to overcome anything and everything. It is an immense source of pride for Leithers. It highlights their independent spirit and their sense of community. You can find it anywhere you go in Leith, from flags to crests to pubs, and as well as being on the local football team's motto itself. So, much like the Madonna protecting her child, Leith is and always will be a bastion of hope and protection for everyone. And for some, like me, no matter where you come from, it's a place called home.
So, with the darkest days behind our ship, of hope we'll steer. And when in doubt, keep in mind our motto: persevere. One last thing before I go, this project has been a test pilot for an idea that I've had for a while now. It's a catalyst for me to explore the world around me, and in return I'm hoping to share some pretty photos and videos from along the way. Thanks so much for watching. You've been watching Locale.